I've been waiting for this one all night. You started a charitable movement called Dear Rich People. And no offense, but for all intensive purposes, we're talking to them right now. Can you tell us a little bit more about this campaign? Is there anything about this movement that we haven't yet discussed tonight that you'd like everyone here to know?
Well, like almost everything in my life, it started as just an idea at 3 in the morning. I thought, okay, someone had just talked me into doing Twitter. Chantel Sinrader said, you should tweet. And I said, okay, I don't know what tweeting is, but I'll learn. So I signed up for Twitter, and I'm going, okay, now what do I say? And so I started tweeting things that I thought could help my businesses or help all of the philanthropic things I'm involved in. And then I thought, wow, wouldn't it be cool to just create a message, just little tidbits of ideas for wealthy people in terms of how they should live their lives, look at wealth, think about purpose, think about their children, and they were all meant to be just little tidbits of information, little thoughts that would provoke them to think, to just get people thinking. And I found that we created a Dear Rich People Twitter site, and we started doing this. But I thought it's hard to just do that. I wanted to do something a lot more, and I wanted to write articles on this. I really wanted to write about all of these subjects which relate to wealth and purpose in life and philanthropy. And I had it in my mind I kept thinking about Huffington Post. And other ideas were brought to me about other outlets to write for, and I just thought, I don't know why, I wanted the Huffington Post. And we tried through regular channels to get to the Huffington Post, and they turned us down. And we tried doing it the way that people do, you apply, and and I just couldn't get anywhere. And lo and behold, I'm in New York one night, and I'm invited to a private dinner, and they sit me right next to Arianna Huffington. So I thought, well, here's my chance. Okay, so I started to chat her up, and I said, she had already done some research on me because it was a very private dinner involving something we were involved in, and so she started telling me about my love for cooking. I said, I know you love cooking. I said, great. So we struck up a conversation, and I started to tell her about my beliefs, and then she goes, you should have a blog on Huffington Post. I swear to God, that's actually what happened. And now, for 8 months now, I do a monthly piece for HuffPost USA. And in each of these articles, what I try and do is I try and strike an emotional chord in people to get them to think. And so I start with a theme, but I try and weave it into an actual story of something that has happened to me or I've seen happen to somebody else. So I tell a story, and I tell a story of whatever, and then I try and bring it back to the idea, the central theme, whether I'm talking about the fact that we all live, we have the greatest gift of all, which is life. And some of us go, well, why are we here? And what's the purpose? Well, the purpose is, one of the purposes can be that you can go through your life and touch as many people as you possibly can in a positive way, such that it changes their lives. And that's the movie, It's a Wonderful Life. I wrote a whole article. Have everybody's seen that movie, right? The theme of that movie is that every life is important, and that even though you think your life is not important, you've touched people. If you've touched people in a positive way, you change their lives, and therefore it gives your life meaning. There was a purpose. You weren't just empty space. You came here for a purpose, and when you leave, you've left and done some good, and you've left some good behind you. So every article I do is a theme about whether it's what we talk about, living in a bubble, that we all live in a bubble, that the concept of privilege. The idea that I speak to my children a lot about privilege and how privileged they are, how lucky they are, and that comes with a responsibility. So you talk about that, and you talk about giving. I've got so many ideas in my head, and I will keep doing this, and someday it'll be a book. And but it's just how I see the world and how I want to provoke people to think about it.